Bonjour, messieurs, dames. How are you today? Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We may have done this in the past. In fact, we certainly have. But we're going to do it again. We're going to take your emotional pulse. Well, we aren't. You are. Why do we do this? With my clients, every 3 or 4 sessions that I have with them, I'll take the emotional pulse. Why? Because typically through the sessions, you can see an improvement. You know, at the beginning, quite often people have not very good results. And then as they go through the therapy, then they get better and better. And it's just a nice way of validating their improvement and their move forward. Obviously, we're going to take the emotional pulse, but the question is, if you've got an issue, what are you going to do about it? Well, I'll explain how you would go about working on some of these things on your own, or with a therapist if you can find a nice one that you resonate with, after we've finished. So let's get on and do the emotional pulse. We'll talk about it on the other side. So how it works is this. I'm going to give you some sentences that I want you to say out loud. Okay? You say them out loud, you pause, and you score that particular sentence on an emotional level, not up here, right? Do not go up here because you'll get all kinds of stuff you'll adjust, you'll correct or whatever. It's the very first answer that comes to you on an emotional level. And all you're going to do is score the sentence with a level of how true that is. And you're going to use from 0 to 10. 10 means it's exactly true, and 0, it's not true at all. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine I say the sentence, my name is Gordon, then I would score that at 10. That's because my name's Gordon. But if I had a sentence, my name is Betty, I would score that at 0, because my name's not Betty. Yeah, so 0, this is not true at all. 10, this is exactly 100% true. And then we've got the bit in the middle. Okay, so that's all that you have to do. Again, I'm going to repeat. Trust the very first number that comes into your mind. It comes into your heart. Okay? If you find that you've paused and you've thought about it, too late. If that's the case, you just do it again. Just say it and feel it. All right? Because we're working with your emotional body. We're not with your mental body. People talk about all kinds of stuff. They say that they're all kinds of stuff. But it's the feeling body that is the one that controls us. It's the one that makes us happy or sad. It's the one that makes us motivated or demotivated. Yeah, it isn't the mind. The mind, yeah, you can manage the emotions with the mind, but the emotions also manage the mind tremendously. Okay, so let's start with the first one. I am a good person. Say that out loud and score it. How true is that? I am a good person. Okay, if you want to, you can just note these down on a bit of paper. I'm a good person and the score. What was the score that you got? Okay, by the way, just so you know, just so that you don't get scared, the ideal would be that you scored yourself 10 out of 10 for all of these. But that's not the reality. Expect yourself to fluctuate, all right? Because, yeah, we know that we're good people, and sometimes we're not, yeah? So what I think is fairly healthy is to see people around the 7, 8. It also shows a modicum of modesty as well, you know, a bit of reality, but 7 or 8, okay? Below 3 is a red flag, okay? Below 3 is a red flag. Next one. I like the person that I am. So, you felt that? How true does that sound to you? How true does it feel to you? I like the person that I am. Now, we're going to do another one which sounds the same, but it's not, because we're bringing in self, okay? Just out of interest. It might be the same, it might be something different. I like myself. How true is that? Okay, so make a note of that. Next one. I deserve a good life. I deserve a good life. How true does that feel? Write that down, make a note of it, and then just shake these off as you go, okay, so that they don't leak. We don't have leakage from one to the other. Next one. I love the person that I am. How did that feel? What number would you give it? Make a note of that. And just try this one as well, which sounds the same, but it's slightly different. It might be the same, it might be different. I love myself. How true does that feel? Write it down. And then this one. I'm enough as I am. I'm enough as I am. How true is that? If that one doesn't you're not sure what you're getting, try this sentence. I'm everything that I need to be right now. I'm everything that I need to be right now. How true does that feel? And so, that is doing the emotional pulse. Now, look at your scores, okay? And put a circle around anything that looks overly low. So when I do this with people, what am I looking for? If I see, what I'm looking for is something that's outside of the pattern. So if you get people who are going, well, I've got an 8, that's a 7, that's a 6.5, there's a pattern. It's like around about, the mid-range. And then they go 2. That's where the issue is. That's where the issue is. Very often, it's in places like I deserve a good life. Or what I often see is people say, I love myself, and they score themselves okay. Or I love the person that I am. And sometimes I love myself sounds very egotistical to us. Oh, he loves himself. Whereas I love the person that I am, some people are a bit more easy when it comes to scoring themselves up. But when we get to I like myself, people tend to score themselves down. Okay? And that's just because they don't feel that they're being enough. They're being everything that they can be. And so quite often you'll see these, I'm enough, that's low, and, I like myself, low, whatever. It just depends on the situation. But that's what you're looking for, the ones that are low. And you know that the low ones have not a nice feeling to them. You get that when you say them. I've had people who can't say the sentences. They burst into tears. Now, that's extreme, but it's happened more times than you might imagine, that they can't say the words without crying. I don't need them to give me a score. I just go, yeah, got an issue there, haven't we? Just say this, I love myself. Yeah. Self-love, ain't a problem. So what do you do? What do you do with that? Well, what you do is this. You take the low scores and you say to yourself, ask yourself the question. If it's, I love myself, scored low, the question is, you've got to go to the opposite side. What is it about myself that I don't love? Right? And it might be, the way that I am with my family, or the way that I treat people, blah, 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 blah. That is what you need to work on with the therapist. And the way that we do that typically is through hypnosis and through regression to situations or chair therapy, where you get that healed, that idea, or you ask for forgiveness. Basically, everything, the whole of therapy is around forgiving yourself. Yeah, because all of these things that we're scoring ourselves lowly is because we can't forgive ourselves for what we've done or what we are. Yeah. So it's the same. So if it was like, I'm enough as I am, I'm all I need to be, no low score. What specifically are you not doing right now that you know you should do. That's the area that you would perhaps work with a therapist on to create motivation, or to find out what the blockages are in there. What is it around those things that you're not doing? Why is it that you're not doing them? Are there some fears there? You know, what are you scared of? What would happen if you did them? Yeah. So the emotional pulse is something I do right at the beginning of with every client. It is a great way of understanding where the client is, and it's a great way of knowing where the client's gone to as well. And it's a great way of checking out where you are as well. Absolutely. So there you are. Do that. Try that with people. A little bit of a party game, yeah, just to bring them down if they're feeling shit about themselves. End the party. Okay. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Put in the comments, by the way, if there was anything that you surprised you, anything that you were very pleased with, anything that you were a bit worried about. Put in the comments. I love you all. Bye bye.